Welcome to Podcast, the Business of Dentistry podcast, brought to you by Practice Plan. Podcast delivers the best business advice, real-life stories, and practical hints and tips to make your practice a more profitable and sustainable business. And now, here's your host.
Hello and welcome to Podcast. My name's Hazel Dockery, and with me today is Emilia Forrester, who is a multi-award winning dental nurse. Nice to have you here, Emilia. Thanks very much for joining us. Tell us a bit more about yourself.
Oh, thank you, Hazel. Thank you very much for having me here. So as you mentioned, I am award-winning dental nurse. I am very privileged to have the title for the last 2 consecutive years. And I am finalist this year for Dentistry Awards and also Private Dentistry Awards, which is a massive honor. So I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all the judges for the acknowledgement and for the support. So I've become a nurse in 2007, so that's very, very long time ago. Many of us will fall into dentistry by accident or as a stopgap, and so did I. I fell in love with the profession almost immediately. I remember I started working at general practice just to cover maternity leave. And before I knew it, I stayed there for 14 years.
Long maternity leave, that.
That was very, very long maternity. That's correct. I was young. I had no commitments. Therefore, I've decided to gain as many qualifications as possible without knowing exactly which career path was calling my name. Yeah. Over the last couple of years, following my winning of Dentistry Awards, I have been published in dental news, sharing my story to inspire others and to pass my knowledge so other people can also maximize their potential in dentistry. I'm not sure if you're aware, but this year I became the East Midlands representative for the Society of British Dental Nurses.
Wow, that's quite an honour.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so it's a non-profit organisation which was created for dental nurses and for dental nurses to basically support and offer advice and tips. I've also been a speaker this year at 2 different dentistry shows, which was incredible in a rewarding experience.
Yeah. Oh, so you really have branched out, haven't you?
Yes, I feel because I've got so much knowledge, so much skills, I think this is now my time to start sharing it with others.
Oh, that's brilliant. So, I mean, you've won an award twice and you're up for more. So obviously, you know, you yourself are a good representative of what makes a good dental nurse. So what qualities and attributes do you think make a good dental nurse?
I think good dental nurse should have several key qualities and attributes which would be essential in our field. But I also believe those attributes or qualities can be learned and they can come to us naturally as we get older, as we evolve. The nurse should definitely be compassionate and understanding. We often work with a patient who are anxious or are in pain. We should definitely have attention to detail and have great communication skills with patients and of course with the rest of the team. Dental nurses should be a great team players and have exceptional organization skills to be able to multitask. We should be knowledgeable and always remain professional and stay calm under pressure. Dentistry is also evolving all the time. We're seeing all the time different technologies being developed. So I think dental nurses should be very eager to learn. And of course, a very friendly, bubbly and smiley personality is the must. And I think those attributes are essential for excellent dental nurse, but also it will contribute to an amazing patient experience and the overall success of a dental practice.
Yeah, I mean, it's important, isn't it, that the patient has a great experience. And we've actually done a lot of work with consultants who really concentrate on making the role of the dental nurse more important. So that really feeds into what you've said there. We hear that it can be quite tough working in practice these days. You know, patients can be quite demanding, possibly because they can't get an appointment, and they can take out their frustrations on your team. So a lot of the work that you do is about creating and maintaining great teams. So what advice do you have about keeping teams happy and motivated at the moment with this sort of slightly negative attitude that we've heard about?
Hazel, you nailed this on the head, actually. I see a lot of frustrations from patients being directed towards team who are genuinely doing their best to provide excellent patient care, basically. And I feel team always should be motivated, but unfortunately, motivation is often overlooked.
Yeah.
And I feel this is where I step in at my dental practice. I always motivate my team, encourage staff, and give positive feedback. To give you an example just from yesterday, one of my receptionists, Holly, made beautiful pumpkins. She carved them absolutely amazing. I was so impressed when I saw them yesterday. I gave her feedback right away, and I gave her a massive shout out across social media last night because she deserves to know. She took her time to actually spend time outside work to create those pumpkins, and I was so impressed. And I also feel that we should conduct team building activities more. Team buildings are probably one of the most important investments dental practices can implement to improve overall dynamics of the team. Spending quality time together outside work, working towards a goal, or having just incredible time together will have magical power.
Yeah. I mean, when you say spending time together, do you mean what, going bowling or, picnics in the summer, going for meals and drinks and stuff like that? Is that the sort of thing you mean? Or do you mean something more formal, like a whole day doing something?
So it can be both. So at our practice, we organize days out with the team, like bowling, for example. But also, we're doing foodle next week with my practice team. We're doing lunch together, and every single member will bring something to lunch, which is Halloween themed. Christmas parties. Next year, my boss is organizing a massive barbecue in summer for every basically team to join together. And I feel when you work together at the practice, you often don't have a time to communicate, to discuss, your personal life. We are just so busy. So spending quality time together outside work will bring the team closer together and boost the team morale.
Yeah, I feel like I need to explain what you said about fuddle there.
Yes.
It's an East Midlands word, isn't it? And it's a bit like everybody. Americans might call it potluck or something, where everybody brings something, don't they? So you make a big buffet. Yes. Yeah.
So we do this often. So we do this always for Christmas, and we always done it. We've done a buffet where we call the around the world. So every team member will bring a dish from a different country, and it's just a fun to have a lunch together and just talk.
Yeah, talking. I mean, sort of so obviously it's getting to know people and things like that. So what role do you think communication plays in ensuring you have an efficient and happy team then?
Communication plays a huge part in an effective team. Communication will improve the work performance, will help us to achieve goals, and it will help us to allow better planning in the dental practice. I will be delighted to share with you some of my essential tips for an effective communication. Do we have time?
Oh, yes, please do.
So I've got 5 tips that I always love to share with others. So tip number 1, before each session, a dentist and a nurse should have a briefing together. The aim is to discuss your patients. If you have anything specific you need for that day, like a goodie bag, different material, or a birthday card, this will help your session to run smoother. So I always advise to get into routine to do this every single day. Tip number 2 would be to give each other feedback. Feedback is essential for you to grow and learn. And it doesn't matter if you are a nurse, a dentist, or hygienist, each one of you can give feedback to another. Let me just give you a very simple example. I love examples. So at the end of the day, you can ask your nurse or a dentist, so how do you think today went? Do you think we can do anything different with X patient? Or you can say something like, Hazel, I really love the way you did XYZ today. Shall we do this more often?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Tip number 3 would be to use task management software. So at our practice, we use Exact, which got like a tasking feature, which I absolutely love, especially now when I work at the larger practice. We also introduced something called Monday.com, but it's very new software for me. I've actually been using only this for about a couple of weeks. So if we speak in a few weeks' time, I can give you more feedback about this. Tip number 4 will be listening. Giving undivided attention when you're listening to others, it will build trust and it will strengthen bonds. I always believe that if you just stop and think for a second, when was the last time you noticed a colleague wasn't listening to you, not paying attention when you are trying to communicate? Just reflect. How did it make you feel?
Yeah.
Do you stop and listen to others? You know, like if I notice, if I'm having important conversation, a colleague of mine is not listening or not paying attention, I will challenge it right away. And if I ever lose my attention, because it can happen, yes, I'm only a human, I will apologize and I will make sure I give my 100% presence thereafter. And the last tip, but probably one of the most important one, is gratitude. I can't stress enough how important it is to show gratitude and appreciation. A simple thank you goes a long way. And it doesn't matter if you are a nurse, a dentist, or a hygienist. Each one of you can give feedback to another. Let me give you an example. You are running half an hour late, but for the very first time, your dentist started to wiping the sides down and prepare for the next patient while you do the decon. You must show your gratitude and say how great it made you feel, and they probably will do it again. That's my 5 top tips and tips about the communication, and I live by them every single day.
Oh, they're things that people can actually implement very easily as well, aren't they? Some of them are sort of almost like you'd say, oh, common sense, but sometimes we need to be reminded of these things, don't we?
100%. I agree.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been absolutely brilliant to speak to you, Emilia. Thank you so much for sparing your time and giving us your top tips. Take care.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Bye.